Okay, Dammy. Are you doing the intro? Am I doing the intro?
No, you do the intro today.
Okay. Hey guys, it's Corday.
It's Dammy.
And you are listening to the Sistership podcast. It's so weird for us to be doing this. Especially given the fact that I am anti-podcast.
The queen of
tweeting about how we need to defund podcasting equipment. It's enough. And then I'm here. It's insane. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Look at us.
Me. But yeah, no, like, it's a new venture. I feel like the most important thing for us to do is sort of introduce ourselves briefly though, because the journey will mean that you get to know us more.
A bit more, yeah.
As we're going.
Can't give you too much.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Dammy to introduce us and tell you like how we met, what stage you were kind of in, and then just fast forward till now, because all the in between we'll get into it at some point.
Hi guys. When did we meet? Okay, so I remember how we met. Well, how I got to know Corday. So I think it was Twitter days for us. This is like
20.
What's the year?
2017.
No.
It was 2017.
Yeah, it's like 2017. Okay, yeah, 2017. So I think she was kind of bait on Twitter, but I liked her tweets. So you know them like relationships you have with people online, but it's like, oh, I like their tweets, so I follow them or I interact with them. So I liked her stuff, and I think you started uni 2017. Yeah. So she was going to King's. I was supposed to go to King's at that time as well, but your girl flopped her A-levels, so I had to retake. But because I had known she was going to King's and I wanted to go to King's, so I reached out to her. And then we were expecting to see each other in September, but obviously I had to redo my A-levels. So she started first year without me, and then God willing, I got into King's the year after. And then we just became kind of inseparable from there.
From then onwards. And you know what's
2018.
Insane?
It's giving Proverbs 18:24.
Stop.
Y'all search that up.
Insert scripture here. But you know what? I feel like it's so interesting how we obviously met pre-university. We went through university. I mean, I went through university. She's still at uni.
I'm still there, guys.
And like now, I'm going back to uni.
It's like full circle.
I wouldn't even call it full circle. I'm not even 1/8 of the way around the circle. Life for me, I feel like it's so weird because we would have expected to maybe be in different places had things gone differently. We're both about to be 25, and I do feel like we have age mates that are in totally different stages of their life right now. We've got age mates that are getting engaged. We've got age mates that
having
are
children.
already married and having children. We have age mates that have bought houses. We have age mates that still live at home with their parents. We have some that are still at uni, some that are in full-time work. Like, the stage that we are all at is so different.
It's quite odd.
It's so odd how life does that to people.
But I feel like we've been like in a similar state throughout our friendship.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I feel like I wanted us to kind of get into that and into maybe talking about not the pressures of having it all together really soon, but like what it means to be in your 20s.
No, especially because of what you said, like how everyone's, I guess some people are at stages that we aspire to get to. Yeah. And it's just like, it's not really happening for us right now, but you are there. And it's like, I mean, that's what I dreamed of when I was younger. You get to 25, you're settled down.
I thought I'd be married.
You've got your career. Life is looking great. That's not how it's looking right now. No, life is looking great still. But
it's just the different.
All the in-betweens, like, we should unpack that.
In fact, rather than unpacking it, let's go back a bit and let's try and describe what life is like right now in one word. Because I feel like sometimes you get overwhelmed with the idea of, oh my gosh, like this is where I want to be, this is where I am, this is where I was, and thinking about all of those different stages all at once is a lot. But if you can sum things up into one or maybe even 2 or 3 words, then you can begin to unpack those words and then sort of figure out,
get into the depth
of the get into it. So I don't know, have you got a word to describe what life is like as a 20-year-old figuring things out?
Confusing for me.
Okay. Do you know what? Like, I can relate. Would I say turbulent? I think I would say turbulent is my word.
Turbulent.
Like,
okay, yeah.
Confusing in the sense of what though? Like, what confuses
So for me,
you?
I think life is kind of confusing right now. Should I say confusing? I don't want to say confusing because I wouldn't say I'm confused about my life right now or where I'm going. I would say I am... It's busy.
Okay. Okay.
Busy in the sense that I'm actually busy. I'm busy in the sense that my mind is very busy right now as well. There's a lot going on in there. Busy because I'm a medical student, so I've done my degree is 7 years because I took an extra year to study something else. You guys might know that I just graduated from King's with a BSc in cardiovascular medicine, which was really fun.
Yeah.
But it kind of set me back in the sense that I was supposed to graduate in 2024. So now I'm graduating in 2025.
Yeah.
And a few people in my year that I was close with have now gone into their final year and will be graduating next year. So for me, my mind is busy in the sense that it's just like, part of me is thinking, damn, like I took another year to do something else. And I also didn't go to uni straight away. I had a year before I started.
The year later, yeah.
So when I finish, I'll basically be turning 27. And it's just like...
It's not necessarily the most ideal situation or what you had thought of beforehand. But I feel like there's something beautiful in the journey not necessarily being as linear as you would have wanted it to be. Yeah. I feel like all of the times that you took a year out and you did something else, perspective, knowledge, like wisdom, there's so many things that have been imparted in that 1 year that you took out. The year before you started uni, obviously you didn't start with me, but you came the year later. It was a year for you to really work on developing discipline because you had to study. Like you had no other task but to get to no other task but to get into uni. So you were able to develop discipline. And I feel like sometimes we think about those situations like, oh, I'm behind, or I'm not where everybody else is, or I've got other people, and you're looking at your counterparts, if you will, and contemporaries, if you want to say that. And you're looking at them and thinking, right, like, there's so much further ahead. Not knowing that even though you're behind, you're still growing. Do you know what I mean?
And I feel like I love what you said about how there's so much that happens within that year where you might not necessarily be with everyone else. Yeah. Because there is. And it might be that when you even get to a similar stage as everyone else, you've learned a lot more than them, or you're in a better position than them mentally. So I would say my mind is busy because I feel like I'm someone who kind of thinks about the future a lot. Yeah. And I think sometimes it takes away from my present. Right. Like I don't really know how to sit in the present and be excited. Like, I mean, I was excited in July because I graduated and we had a little shindig. Went out. But for me, after July, it's like, okay, I'm back to uni. Like I need to get back on
and start thinking about
what
the future.
I'm doing, rather than, oh my gosh, damn, like you spent a year doing something else. You learned so much. This is something I'm potentially... Yeah, exactly. I feel like I don't know how to relish in moments, and that's why my mind is always jumping hectic. And it's a bit busy, should I say.
No, I feel you. And do you know what? Sometimes I feel like I'm the same way. Like I do like to think about the future. Do you know what is for me? I feel like we might be on opposite ends of the spectrum. I am so about the present. I feel like that's why for me things can be quite turbulent because like my 20s, obviously went to uni for 3 years. Graduated and
completely ended how you expected to end.
Totally different because I was just about what is going to make me happy right now. I was doing a degree that I didn't really enjoy, guys. And for me, I just thought, when I finish this degree, I'm gonna finish it. I'm not gonna stop because I don't know what else I would want to do. But like, when I finish it, I'm going to try and really, really seek what makes me happy or what I'm enjoying doing on this, that and the other. I had bare hobbies when I was at uni. One of them being like, obviously, posting content, posting my outfits mostly. I started a YouTube channel, stopped that. Started posting my outfits on Instagram. And like, those were I would say my hobbies. I was doing it for fun. I was like, do you know what? I'm going to try and pursue this further. Glory to God, we had a lockdown. And I know that's like a weird thing to say because it was a tough time for a lot of people. But it allowed me to really streamline. Like I had nothing else but to sit in my own thoughts and think about what I really wanted for myself. So I was very presently minded. Like, what do I need to do right now? Yeah. Not necessarily thinking about how it's going to affect me in the future or what it's going to mean for me in the future or like the 5 or 10 year plan behind it. I was just doing it because I enjoyed it in the moment. And that has its ups and downs. It was good because I felt like, oh my God, I'm really doing what I enjoyed. Got into styling and started working in the fashion industry a bit and had done that and did it for about 3 years. Obviously this is 2023 now. So I'm at the end of that season, if you will. And then now I'm trying to have to think, be more future minded in the same way you are, like thinking about what do I want my life to look like in 5 years, what do I want it to look like in 10 years, and how do I actually, what are the stepping stones that I need to take. That's why I'm back at uni. So my stage, I've gone all the way back all the way back.
But that's I think that's one thing I actually like about
student.
you. I think that's one thing I like about you. And I feel like whenever I'm talking to people about you and I describe him, like, one thing I like about Corinne is if she doesn't like something, she's gonna move on.
Yeah, I'm a pivot. I'm the queen of pivoting. Like, I don't believe in staying there.
You will change, but I'm more future minded. So I will kind of like work towards the future in that sense. And I think because I do medicine, I don't really have a choice.
That's an interesting one.
I don't really have a choice. Like, I don't have a choice but to think about what my life is going to look like after 2025.
Right.
I can only do so much in the present because being a student, there's so many things with being a student. Like, your brain is so different to how everyone else is who works and has a full-time job and has a full-time salary. I don't have a salary. Like, the financial side. What's the word? Yeah, the financial side
burdens of being a student. They're crazy.
It's tight
when you're still an adult, I think, because being a student when you pre-18, like when you're in secondary school, sixth form, you still have,
let's say pre-21.
Pre-21, okay, cool. Because I even feel like sometimes at 18, like, some people still have to go, they still have to pay rent, they're still gonna have to like feed themselves and this and the other. There's a certain level of independence.
Yeah.
But like when you're in full-time study, you really can't be working full-time. It's just gonna be at the detriment of your studies unless you're like extremely gifted and talented and can do both at the same time. But the likelihood is you have to give up the work in order to maintain your studies.
You will. And the people who can do like tutoring or like those type of remote jobs which still pay really well if you get a good amount of hours in, like, I envy them. But I enjoy tutoring, but I just knew it would be hard for me to like get the clientele and just be able to kind of, what's the word, work around it for medicine. But now I kind of like have no choice. Like, I'm looking for tutoring jobs again. But I just wanted to say, I said pre-21 because for me, obviously pre-21 life was a bit different. I was still doing medicine, but I feel like I had so much more support.
Right.
And especially with medicine in this country, you start to get like an NHS bursary, which significantly reduces the money you get per semester. So when that came for me, which was like 2 years ago, like a year and a half ago, that's when I really had to like start thinking about my life seriously. So those are the things that add to my mind being busy and life feeling really hectic and busy right now. But I think one reason why I love to think about the future is because I can make the future what I want it to be.
Okay.
And it makes me happy to know that in my mind anyway, like, my future is going to be great. So I think that's why I kind of bask in it rather than basking in my present sometimes, because the present can be, I guess, kind of painful for me anyways, when you kind of like see what your friends are doing, or when you even like imagine to like my life when I was 18, between 18 and 21 or 22. Like when we, like, me and this girl, like, we used to go on holiday just because, or we would go to like Amazon or Co, we'd go to places, we'll do things just because we had the money to do so. And sometimes you kind of have to read it in because your circumstances change. So I think basking in the future is great, but at the same time, I think it's important to be able to enjoy what's right in front of you.
Yeah, that's
and the small you can do with what's in front of you, and don't get too carried away, because I think sometimes for me, I used to get really carried away, and then I would just be so angry or upset about what life currently looks like. But I think there's always something to be happy about.
I agree. You know what for me? I feel like there's absolutely nothing wrong with being forward thinking. I feel like when it becomes a problem is when you're using it as a method of escapism. Like, you're trying to escape the present. Try to think about what is happening for you right now that is worth being grateful for. Yeah. Even if it's something small, try and hold on to that, as well as thinking about how you can make your current circumstances better. Not that it's like one outweighs the other. Try and hold them like side by side. But yeah.
Adding on to that, another thing I've learned is that like life is full of seasons. And as you grow older, the seasons don't get any better. Like, you're gonna get more and more of this. I mean, yeah, you might get to 30 and you have more money now and you can do more things, but you're still gonna have to think about your bills. If you're married and you have children, you're still gonna have to think about your husband and your kids. You're still gonna have to think about your other family members. Like, there's so much that comes with getting older as well. So that's why it's important to be able to enjoy where you currently are. Right. And look forward to the future, but not looking forward to the future in a way that's detrimental to your mental health.
Yeah, I feel you. That thing about seasons is so important. Like we were saying, we're obviously in, would I say the same season?
a similar season
to when we first met each other in 2017. But that's bound to change. Seasons are not going to be just like a year, 2 years. Like they can be 5-year seasons, and that's just it. And then you begin to develop and evolve into something else. But yeah, things are really seasonal. But progress should always be upwards, even if it's like up and down in between. I think is the most important thing to remember. Yeah.
There was a tweet we had.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about it. Let me get it. And the tweet, I feel like, says... I feel like it's basically what we've spoken about. There's a stage in your 20s where most people around you are just longing for markers of success. So like the house, the car, the relationship. And a lot of people let this stage drive them crazy. And that's what I was basically trying to say about don't let it be at the detriment of your mental health, like you said. But then also, I said something and I just felt that was so profound of me. And now I've forgotten it. What did I say? Don't let it be a method of like, when I was talking about it being a method of escapism, or like, don't let it drive you insane, because you will get there if it's meant to be. And
guys, you've got to work to get there as well. You know what?
Yeah. Maybe there's something to be said about that. No, and wanting things quickly and not necessarily having delayed gratification. Yeah. Do you know what it is? I feel like
I don't think we necessarily suffer with that though.
What, delayed gratification?
I mean, in the big things. Like in the small things, yeah.
Okay.
The small things, we're treacherous, but the big things, I don't necessarily feel like we're rushing.
Yeah, I don't feel like we are, but I feel like thinking about things more generally.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of that.
We only see people's results, especially if you're on social media or someone's sharing something for you. They're only going to tell you, oh, I just got a new car, or oh, I just moved into my dream house, or here's my engagement pictures, and here's my
here are the great things, basically.
Here are the keys to my new apartment, or whatever it is. Here are the great things. And I'm not against people posting that, but I feel like when that's all we see and that's all we're consumed with, we sometimes forget that there's been a journey, and that person has been through seasons and has been through and has had to work hard in order to achieve these things. Not that it just came to them, like they woke up one day and it just fell into their lap. Yeah,
I was gonna say sometimes people don't have to work for things, and that's all right.
Some people actually don't have to work for things as well.
Fine. And that's fine, guys.
I feel like you need to have that in your mind as well. Like, there are people that are privileged enough to wake up and there's a car for them, or they have a house that they can move into and they own it. Like, everybody is running their own race. Yeah, the only way to put it.
I love that line.
And you can't really look at that person and be like, oh, I want exactly what they have. You don't know, one, how long they had to work to get for it, or whether they had to work for it at all,
or how they even got it.
You know, like, you just genuinely have to think, okay, cool, yeah, I see this as something that I want, or a milestone that I would love to celebrate. How do I, in my own life, get there? Yeah, based on my circumstances and based on my own ability,
based on your morals and your values. Like,
yeah, morals and values. She's shading people. She does this, yeah.
I'm not shading no one. I'm just saying.
Are you sure? You're not shading people? Because when you were saying, how they got it,
no, how they got it, it's important. It's important. Unpack but that. I feel like that statement can be taken as like a pessimistic statement sometimes.
Because what are you trying to say?
And when I say it like that, I don't mean to be pessimistic. I just say it as like, no, you can dream to have those things. Yeah. You can dream to have those things, but always make sure you get those things with, the right way, with good character behind you. Like, that's how I see it. An example could be billionaires. Like, we know you did something scatty to get there.
Not even. This girl,
you did something scatty to get there.
I thought you were unless it was God made. Like, people that would defraud to get things and people that don't.
No, that also counts. That also it's also part of
shady.
No, I mean, yeah. So I mean, I'm at them type of people. I'm at the people that lie to get what they want. I'm at the people that steal to get what they want. Yeah. I'm at the people that destroy to get what they want. You don't want to be that person, because whatever you get in the end is going to leave you last. You're not going away with it. So if you're going to get things, try and aspire. You can be inspired. You can be inspired by people, but you need to put your own spin on it. Like, you are your own individual person. Like, you weren't put on earth to be someone else. So point. As much as you aspire to be other people, you draw inspiration from other people, make it you. Make it you. I agree, make it you.
you know what? I feel like a good time for us to talk about maybe the positives, like the things that we have got. It might not be the house, it might not be the car, it might not be this, but like you're saying, let's think presently. Oh, the car situation, we're gonna get into that because man,
oh my gosh,
going through a lot. But I feel like we should try and end this sort of snippet on a positive note, because we've spoken about how important it is to live in the present.
Yeah.
And how important it is to appreciate what you have right now.
So we're talking about some things, plural, if you have them, like that you are happy about, that is happening right now or you have right now. Oh, okay.
Go on. Waiting for you. I need to think about mine.
The big thing for me that stands out is just the fact that I'm actually studying to be a doctor.
This girl. You know that person that's like what do you call it? Not their degree, whether they're like a vegan. It's their entire personality.
That's not my personality,
if you meet Dami,
guys.
She's gonna have I am his doctor t-shirt on.
That's a lie, guys. That's a lie. The only way you will get to know I study medicine is if you ask me. I will never outright.
Did you guys ask her?
Guys, the English.
No, but did they ask her? She said, so I'm studying.
Okay, let's take
something.
It back.
Give us something else.
If I meet you in person, the only way you're gonna know that is if you ask me and I answer your question. But that is something that I'm grateful for because it's something I dreamt about as a child. I feel like I'm living in that dream.
Okay.
So I'm happy
about
that.
But if you walk into a bar and you see a vegan, you meet Dami, and you meet somebody else, Dami is going to tell you she's a doctor first before anybody can tell you where else they are. I promise you, she'll be the first person to say
it. It's not my personality, guys. I always say, I feel like medicine is, as much as I love being a doctor, or being a future doctor, I don't want medicine to be my whole life.
Okay.
I don't think it's my whole life anyway.
So then give us something else that's outside of that then. Am I putting you on the spot? Yeah, good.
Something else that's out of that.
Yeah, outside of that.
I'm happy about, that I have, that I'm content with in the present. My friends.
Okay.
No, I always shout out my girls, like.
That's cute there.
I always thank God. I always say like, I have never really had like I've had one issue. But apart from that, like I've had solid friends ever since I was in secondary school. I've had people that naturally fall off, and it was never hard feelings or anything like that.
Seasonal.
Okay, maybe it was like tumultuous. The relationship was tumultuous, but it wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
But I think that's one thing I always thank God for. Like I have a really good sisterhood.
Right.
And that's why I love the name of our podcast, because I think that's just how. Yeah. I don't know what my life would look like without them.
Yeah.
There was actually a TikTok that I saw the other day, and a woman said, I think there was a study done at Harvard on one of those Ivy League universities in America, and the study was done on the relationships that matter to each gender,
right,
being women and men.
Okay.
For this example, men tended to nurture a relationship with their wife,
right,
whilst women tended to nurture a relationship with their
girlfriends.
And when I thought about it, I said, yeah, like as much as I anticipate loving my future husband, like I love my girls a lot. Like
yeah.
That's what life looks dearly. Like I dream of doing life with my girls. Like we always talk about our kids being best friends, like, our kids like us going on group holidays and the kids having fun. Like my girls have always been something that's really important to me, and I think it's even been made more important to me because of the fact that I'm the only girl. So I have two brothers. Okay. So I really hold on to my friendships a lot. My female friendships. I have male friendships, but when it comes to my girls, yeah,
they trump them.
That's something I'm happy about. Something I'm really content about.
I agree. My thing was going to be my friendships. You said you've obviously had solid friends since secondary school. I can't say that I necessarily have had the same story. Like I've had very seasonal friendships. I feel like I'm a very particular type of person. My banter is very particular type of way, and it's like there are a few people in the world that really get me. Those people are my friends. I'm so grateful for them. Most helpful people, most like really
patient.
caring.
I was gonna say you're patient.
What did you say?
So you're patient. I think I'm a tyrant sometimes. I'm not a nice person to deal with sometimes. Y'all don't want to know me on my bad days.
We all have that potential, you know. And I do feel like having friends that are supporting of you, having friends that will go above and beyond for you, that look out for you when you're there, when you're not there. Like having girls, like you said, that are like that, for me is like top
paramount
tiers,
for life.
Like it trumps the material things. And being able to say that I have that in my early 20s is such, or maybe mid 20s, who knows, but it's early such 20s. It's such early a badge. 20s. I wear it with a badge of honor, because for me it's like not a lot of people can say that. People will get to their 30s, their 40s, their 50s and not feel like they have
nurtured friendships,
solid friendships, solid sisterhood,
even know? Like some of the stuff that I see on Twitter or see online or even see in person between people that are supposedly friends, I just think, damn, like, I can't relate. I'm so sorry. I really cannot.
Thank God we can't relate, you know?
Thank God.
Because it is so easy, I think, to meet people that are not genuine, don't have your, do not have your...
best intentions at heart.
Do not have the best have your best intentions at heart. They're not genuine. It's so easy to meet people like that. It's so easy to meet people that are ready to use you. Like, everybody is going to act in their own self-interest at the end of the day. But if somebody can actually be considerate enough to consider you first, man, that's people to cherish. So for me to have been able to discover that and, you know, like, and be able to live in that in my early 20s, I'm so grateful. Like, for me, that is like, it's above everything else, even though other things might not be where I necessarily would want them to be, or like they could be better. That for me is like, I would say close to perfection. Close to perfection.
I want to add something onto that. For me as well, I think based on how I grew up and sometimes feeling like I was living, like I was doing the life thing alone at times, I think having that sistership or sisterhood, it kind of makes me feel like I can take on whatever comes. Yeah, it does. I'll be real.
This is giving therapy session. Therapy do.
No, it makes me feel like, because I feel like you guys are not seasonal. Like, you guys have been there. Well, my oldest friendships anyway. You guys have been there through a lot for me, and it's like, if you can go through that with me, then
we can go through basically God, anything.
I'm hoping, I'm praying that you make sure that we get through everything else together, because as you said, some friendships will always be cut abruptly, or cut shorter than you thought it would be. But to have friendships that you believe and that you feel deeply and wholeheartedly that will withstand like the test of time is a feeling that cannot be explained.
I agree, and it's something that I feel like is so important to remain grateful for, because I saw something earlier today and it was basically saying like, don't be complacent. These are blessings at the end of the day. They're blessings. Like,
you have to,
whether you like to say it or not, whether you like to call it that or not, like, you are blessed to be in this situation. It's not by a matter of luck or by, do you know what I mean, like by your own. It's very much like God has really, really blessed you. You cannot be complacent in those blessings, because within the blink of an eye it can be taken away from you. So like, you really, really want to remain grateful, and I feel like I try my best to express that, as much as I'm not necessarily the most expressive person, but
you
like,
actually aren't, you know.
I don't think I am.
I've actually deeped it.
Like there's something to be. I wouldn't consider myself necessarily the most expressive. We can unpack that on another episode.
That's like the other day at church when you picked up my drink. I said, "Huh." Guys, do you know Koine does stuff for me? Yeah, like this girl, like. I said Proverbs 18:24. It basically talks about how there's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. Like, I always say my girls that they're my sisters more than a friend. And I had literally I said to Corday and our other friend Brenda, I said, I've got a headache, like I'm not really feeling too great, when we were leaving. And I had bought a drink from McDonald's, so I put the drink beside my chair. It was on the floor, so I was bending to pick it up, and I see Corday bending to pick it up at the same time. I was just like, who stepped? I was thinking, why are you picking up my drink? She was like, oh, because you said you had a headache. I said, this is someone considering how I feel like that. I'm just
thinking, like, I hate
not that she doesn't consider my feelings, but I just felt like that was so odd for someone who doesn't necessarily always express how they're feeling.
I feel like I would not really say it verbally. Like I would try my best to do things, but I come from a house where acts of service reign supreme. Like we can get into love languages, we can get into the way that we interact with our friends a little bit later. I feel like we will in the next episode. Do you know what, we can talk about the next, because I do feel like that is something we can really talk about our past, the sort of households that we were raised in, how that has reflected. Like I feel like that would be such a sick episode. Oh, stay tuned.
But then if you're not expressive, what am I?
Say that again.
If you're not expressive,
I don't think I'm verbally expressive, and I don't feel like I'm physically like I'm not really a huggy, touchy. Am I? I feel like I'm changing. Those things can change, though. They can change.
No, they can change. So, I am not expressive.
But we will definitely talk about that soon.
Not verbally expressive.
We're complex people, I think, and it's worth looking into. I feel like, in terms of what we're talking about right now, though, what there is in our life to be grateful for in the present, friendship is definitely top of the list. Having a support system, family.
I think I was literally about to say more recently, family has been up there for me.
I think family is definitely one. We can talk about our families soon too, like so that you guys can kind of get a bit of insight on that. Not to hold you guys for too long, but I do feel like friends definitely is one thing. And then I feel like there are material things as well that I'm grateful for as well. But they're not as important as that for me. I don't hold them necessarily in the highest regard, but still grateful for them nonetheless. I think being in your mid-20s is hard.
It's a weird place to be in. It is. It's a weird place to be in, but I think
like
you have to make the most out of it, man.
Yeah, we have to.
Because one thing I can say is I've lived. We have had a time.
We've had a time, and do you know what? I feel like I don't think I would necessarily want to do it any other way, because this is really like the planting season for me. Like I am really, really like being stretched and I prefer for it to happen now, so that if I'm to get into situations similar in future, I can,
you will know how to handle them.
Like I'm resilient. So like this is the time for it to happen. I don't want to be shocked later in life. It's better to do it now whilst I'm young and flexible. I swear that because any later I will not be able to. I will just snap. I will just flatline. So I do feel like it's a weird time to be in, because everybody's at different paces, everyone's at different stages, but
we're all learning to love life.
The message is
love the life that we have right now.
Live life.
Love.
If you want to be future minded, do so with caution. If you want to live in a present, also do so, but with caution. You need to be somewhere in between the two. Not on one end or the other end of the spectrum.
Balance. There has to be balance.
And execute back. Have a balance. But I think that's everything. I don't really have anything else to say. I don't know.
We need to talk about the brand that we're wearing today.
Do we? Do we? I don't know if we do.
I don't think we do. Kind of got beef with the person, but
we don't have beef with you, Charlie. We love you. We're wearing Icy Nomad today, guys.
Icy Nomad,
our favorite brand. Little streetwear thing. Got a t-shirt on. Dammy's got a jumper on. And to be fair, like, shout out Icy Nomad on Instagram.
We thought we would rep.
Next week it might be something else next week. You never know.
You lot got to tune in to find out.
But thank you so much for listening, guys. We are the Sistership Pod. We are the Sistership Pod on Instagram. We are the same on TikTok. You can follow us. We will put this up on YouTube, the full clip, but there will be little bits circulating on social media. If you like what you see, give us a little thumbs up. Comment, like, share. It helps us a lot. Subscribe, follow. Please. Because without that, I mean, we're just going to be talking to ourselves, and that's odd. So really, really, really
first sign of madness.
Can you imagine? No, we really appreciate you guys listening to us ramble on for like hopefully 30 minutes. Might be longer.
Give or take.
Plus or minus 5 minutes,
approximately.
We will see you guys very, very shortly. See you later.
Bye, guys.